The organ turned to a melancholy last hymn, playing too slowly. After 4 verses, it sighed to silence a phrase or two behind the congregation. Reverend Buckminster descended from his pulpit and processed down the aisle. Mrs. Buckminster and Turner went behind him and stood with him at the back of the church to endure the handshakes and knowing looks. Did he really go out into the bay with a Negro? Willis passed without looking at him, as, in fact, did most of the congregation, until he stopped holding out his hand. And when it was all over, he ran through the gossiping crowd and sprinted back to the parsonage, where the blue sea breeze laughed and swirled and invited him down to the water, down to the shore. Oh, Lord, if only Malaga Island hadn't all been a lie. But no minister's son in Phippsburg, Maine, can follow a sea breeze to the shore on the Sabbath, especially not to a forbidden shore. So Turner settled in for a quiet and still dinner and a quieter and more still afternoon. If he had been in Boston, where baseball was as it should be, he would be standing at home plate on the common, the smell of grass and leather in his nose, his hands sticky with the pitch on the bat, waiting for the streak of white he would slash past the first baseman. Instead, the quiet and still afternoon wore on like a too-slow hymn, while Turner read some, stalked about the house some, looked out the window some, and wondered a great deal about why God had settled on Sunday afternoons to be dreary and miserable. When his mother could stand the stalking no more, she sent Turner out. She used the word forbidden only once, and he strolled off, hands in his pockets, until he remembered that minister sons do not keep their hands in their pockets, down Parker Head, heading to Malaga, but knowing he could not go there. He thought for a moment of trying to see if, by any chance, there was a ball game down in Thayer's hay meadow. He would risk breaking the Sabbath for one good hit, even if it was only a hit to left field. But the thought of the greeting he would receive from Willis and his crew stopped him, and when the sea breeze sprang up again, it pulled him toward Malaga. If it had not been for Mrs. Cobb standing by the gate of her father's picket fence, as though waiting for him to try to sneak by, who knows how many forbiddens would have flitted away like yesterday's gypsy moths. So your mother got those bloodstains out? Yes, ma'am. It's too bad that she ends up with the work when you're the one in the street brawling, and a minister's son at that. Turner thought back on the day so far. He added one to the number of things in it that were almost more than God had any right to expect of him. Well, your father said you play the organ. You may as well come in and play for me. Mrs. Cobb, I wasn't coming to. You weren't coming to what? To bring some peace to an old woman whose household you've thrown upside down? Is that what you weren't coming to do? Turner sighed. He ran his finger around his collar and followed her into the imprisonment of her house. He wondered why his father couldn't have chosen a decent career. A conductor, maybe. A conductor who rode trains with his family and lit out for the territories.